Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get to Know Glasgow. And this is a bonus edition on India. And we have three wonderful students who are currently studying at the University of Glasgow. My name is Maneeta, and I work for the Recruitment and International Relations Office, and I'm based in New Delhi in India. And I have met a few of these wonderful students as well. So, my job is to work with students who are looking and exploring to study with us at the University of Glasgow. I have been associated with the university for over 3 years, and I've met a number of wonderful students who are currently studying there. So we have Riddhi, Rohit, and Navya with us today, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Riddhi. I'm studying at University of Glasgow. I'm originally from New Delhi in India. I'm sure everyone knows where New Delhi is in India, right? And I'm also excited to be here today to share my experience as a student in University of Glasgow. And I would like to share a lot about the city and the culture and the life in general here. Yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name is Rohit Kumar Dubey, and I'm a computing science postgrad at the University of Glasgow. And I'm from the city which holds the world record of second longest railway platform, and that's none other than Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. And yeah, I'm very excited for the podcast.
Hi everyone, I am Navya. I am a third year common law student and I'm really excited to be here today and share my experiences. I'm pretty sure everyone would have seen me on YouTube because I'm a content creator. So now I'm here answering all the questions. And yeah, I'm really excited to get started.
Thank you, everyone. That was lovely. It's amazing to hear that we have students from obviously the capital city, but also students from smaller cities as well. So we offer that diversity of students coming from India as well. So let's talk a little bit about Glasgow as a city. Tell me, what sort of facilities that you love on campus, and obviously Glasgow as a city. What are the hotspots for the students as well?
I think the thing that I really like about University of Glasgow is that it has a proper campus. There are some of the universities that just look like schools, and I really don't want to go with that vibe. So as soon as you enter in the University of Glasgow, it is like stepping into Hogwarts. That's the feel that I get every time I visit university in a week. And my favorite spots on the campus have to be the GUU. I think you actually get the student experience in the union, and there are quite a few of coffee shops that I really like to visit, sit and work there. And of course there are some of my favorite food spots at the campus that I like to go daily. And yeah, I think that's about it. The vibe is really cool, and I actually love to be a student here at Glasgow.
Okay, so what I like about University of Glasgow is that it is a really old university. It has been founded in around like 1451, which makes it like really old. And I'm like really fascinated with old buildings and old architecture. So I really love the campus. Also, another great thing about the university is that when you go to the university, there are places to eat, there is places to sit, to study, and if you just show up at the university, you can just go up to any building and you'll find a space to study. You'll find a computer or like anything that you want to access related to your studies, and everything is easily available. Also, the weather is also about the weather is like quite rainy, but in general, yeah, everything is great about University of Glasgow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as like both of them, like Riddhi and Navya said that it's like a pretty old university. Like as far as I know, it's like the fourth oldest university in the UK, and it definitely has to be scenic, and it is. Uh, when I talk about my friends, like who are Harry Potter fans, again, gives a complete Hogwarts vibe, and like mostly when you get into the university after the sunset, it's like way too beautiful. And talking about like the favorite spots, I would say is like for me being a computer science postgrad, we spend like most of our times in like Boydor building, and again you get like the easy access to the resources. Like for a computing science postgrad, what else you need except a machine? So we get to use the machine like from early mornings till late night. And yeah, that is it. Like that's my favorite spot for like as a computing science postgrad. Yeah.
Really sweet. I mean, every time I visit a campus, there is something new that I discover as well. But coming from students, they have their own hotspots to go to. So I'm surely going to go make a visit next time when I'm there. Excellent. So it's really wonderful to have you, study with us. But why did you choose Glasgow, and how did you apply, and what were the kind of pointers that you kept in mind when you actually chose to come to the university to study? We are a highly ranked university. That's one of the rankings. But were there other things that you considered when you applied to the university?
So for the university, as a as my course, I was looking for something very flexible. So the thing is like the course in University of Glasgow was quite flexible. We got a multiple options to choose from, and that was what I did not get in other universities because their course was very like typical, you know, a fixed set of courses, and that is what you have to study. But being again a computing science postgrad, I can frame my courses in such a way that I can go in like a data science stream, then you can be like you can go to MLAI stream, you can either choose a set of courses which can lead you to the cybersecurity stream. So there are a plenty of options, and like the flexibility was the first pointer to me. The second one, obviously, the university ranks in like the top 100 in the world. And again, that's something to be very proud of. And therefore, I went for it. And then the third pointer for me was the city. So I tried, exploring virtually as much as I can. So again, I found out that we have a very big community over here. So, you'll never feel away from home because, during the festive seasons, again, you start feeling homesick and stuff. So that's where the community comes into play. And yeah, and then I went through, I had a talk with them as well. So it was really nice to know that we have a big Indian community over here. So yeah, I mean, these were like my top three things why I chose Glasgow. Yeah.
Yes. So there are quite a few factors that I chose Glasgow. Firstly, because I study law, I had to check the rankings, and it was, I think, when I applied, which was 3 years ago, it was around top 10 in the UK for law. So it was a very much a plus point that I had to apply here. Another thing was imagining to study in Scotland. What could be better than that? Because I know Scotland's very beautiful. It's really pretty, and as Rohit said, virtually I used to see Glasgow through the pictures or Google Map, and everything looked very exciting. And a plus point also is that Glasgow is a student city, but it is as commercial as it can get. So you get the best of both worlds. That is what I really like, that I get to experience the student life, but as well as there are commercial shops. It's not a student city, but you get the snippets of it every while. So yeah, and another thing was that my parents were looking for a place which had an airport, because they didn't want me to land somewhere and then travel to another city. So that was also a point that we kept in mind. So it was a win-win.
So when I was like looking for universities, for the first thing, as Navya said, I looked at the rankings of the university, and since my course is like related to biology and everything, so I went to the ranking lists on Google, and like I filtered everything according to the subjects. And the University of Glasgow was like one of the, it was almost on in one of the top 3 universities for biology. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I chose University of Glasgow. And also, as both of them said, that the university is really pretty, and the city is like amazing as well. The people in the city are amazing. So yeah, one of the these was one of the reasons. And how I applied was I applied online through the website at University of Glasgow, and it said like the applications were open, and I prepared my documents and applied. And also, before, like when I got the offer, before accepting the offer, I went to a lot of, if the events and events organized by the university. So when we went to the event, like they gave us a lot of information about how our study is gonna be, and they like to gave us information about the city and how with the cost of living, and they gave us quite a lot of details in the events. So I would like suggest people like to, before you join the university, just attend this event by these events that the university conducts, so you get a good idea about what your life is gonna be when you come here. So yeah, that after attending those sessions, I got like a clear vision that yeah, University of Glasgow is what I need to go to. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's really good to hear that the sessions that we conduct in market are really so useful. We do have people from the university visit India on a regular basis, and again, it's all about connecting with students and giving them that information that they are seeking. It saves them the trip of going to the university to check. So that's wonderful to hear as well. So obviously you've made the application, you've got the offer, and you have a cast from the university. The next steps are applying for the visa. So let me ask you, how easy was applying for the visa and the immigration process for all of you?
For me, it was quite seamless because as soon as I got the unconditional offer and my CAS, the next thing that I did was to apply a visa. I applied for a priority visa because I didn't have much time. I just got the offer, I think, 1.5 months before my course started. So yeah, I was in a hurry and I was obviously stressed if I would get my visa on time. So I applied for a priority visa, but the process was really seamless. Once you have everything, all the documents ready, you just go to the VFS office, you just apply, do whatever they say, the biometric, everything. So it's very seamless, nothing to be stressed about. Actually, the only stressful part is to get an offer, and once you have that, I think the journey is quite easy, to be honest. And yeah, I applied through UCAS. So for, I don't know about the masters, but for undergrad, UK gives you around 5 options to apply to the university. So I had chosen my 5 options, and I just knew that I had to go to Glasgow. And when my father checked all the cities that I applied to, he was like, "You have to go to Glasgow and nowhere else. Otherwise, you just stay in India." So we were quite excited to come to Glasgow.
How about you, Riddhi? Was the visa process, how was it for you?
Okay, so the visa process was like quite easy for me. When after the like the offer was given and I accepted it, and I got my CAS number, I just there's like a VFS office in our city, so we just apply online first, and then we go for the verification process, and they just check your passport and everything, and if they find like that your documents are perfectly fine, then they go ahead and you get the visa in like around a month, and it's quite an easy process. There's I have find a lot of people stressing about it, but I don't think it is something that you need to stress about, and yeah, it's all good.
How about yourself, Rohit? How was your experience of applying for the visa and the immigration process?
Mine was like way too smooth. It's like very simple. You just go to the website, you just fill up all your details, and then after before your appointment, you'll get a checklist of documents, and that is what you have to carry to your appointment. So what you need to do is just organize your documents well. Make sure you have like all the original documents. Make sure you have all the documents mentioned in that particular checklist, which you get after uh, you know just filling up your details in the website. And yes, like carry all the documents to the VFS office, get it scanned, and if they question, I mean, usually they don't, but if they question, you just answer them confidently. And like this is all about, yeah, visa process. It was like quite smooth for me.
Excellent, great. So, as part of the visa that is given by UKVI, a student can apply, can work 20 hours per week on a part-time basis. So, have you used that facility? I mean, are you working on part-time basis? I mean, I can start with Rohit.
Yeah, I mean, starting if you talk about this part time, we have like 20 hours cap. So the thing is, you can only work for 20 hours per week, and it is not necessary that you work for all the 20 hours, because the first priority is your academics. So for me, during my initial months, I tried to adjust myself to the schedule I had. And then after I went, I mean, I joined a part time, and then I just worked for like 8 hours per week, because the course was a bit hectic, and therefore I chose not to work for all those 20 hours. So that is what I want to suggest. You don't need to go for all the 20 hours. Just do as much as you can, because you will be in your initial phase, and settling is more important. And then once you are you know you're good with your routine, you can go for like 20 hours. And also, when your term time is over, what you can do is request for an application from the university, and you can then work full time during your vacation time. When your term time is over, or you have a sort of break, then you can work as a full time. So yeah, that's it.
So in the beginning, finding a part-time job was like not a priority for me, but then later on, I started looking for part-time jobs because you need to have a little bit of earnings so that you can support your studies here. So I was looking for jobs at the university student hub portal, and I also started like looking up jobs around my around where I lived. So the first job that I found here was in as a content creator only through the university's job hub. I applied. I made an introduction video, and then I just sent it out. And when I got the email, and I was like really happy that I got this job. And also I also after I got that job, I was quite happy, but then I started looking for a little other part-time jobs as well around me that I could do. So I found a job in a restaurant as well. So um as you said, like we have a cap of 20 hours, so I try to balance the 20 hours between the two jobs, and I mostly keep it under 20 hours just to be on the safe side. And yeah, that's that's my experience for part-time jobs in Glasgow.
Excellent. Thank you, Riddhi. How about yourself, Navya?
I want to say that there are plenty of jobs that are available on campus, off campus. There are university websites that you can go to apply jobs. I personally did not look for a job till now, because I know myself, I have to like focus on my studies first. But if someone wants to do a job and they are okay with it, they can manage it with their studies. You just go ahead. There are a lot of my friends who are working part time and they can manage the work and their studies quite well. So it's up to you. If you can manage, if you have time management skills, then go for it, because there are plenty of jobs that are here.
Well, thank you, everyone. I totally agree with all your comments. Obviously, academics and you're there to study comes first, and of course, doing a part-time job does give you the skills that you require, soft skills, and getting to meet the people from other cultures as well. It does give you a certain amount of skill sets, but your priority should be your course because that's what you're there for. So excellent points, I would say. So, we come from a very culturally diverse country, India. I mean, we have 29 states, and, each state is like a different country in itself. We have different, the way that we dress, even our color of your skin differs, and the kind of food that we eat is very, very diverse. So, when you come to Scotland and to Glasgow, what sort of cultural differences do you see? And, in terms of cuisines, I know Indian food is available, but what is your experience been eating Indian food in Glasgow, but also sourcing local, say, spices, etc.?
Basically, the culture shock that I had was, as soon as I landed in Glasgow, I could not understand the Scottish accent. It took me a while to understand. Even I was just sitting in the lectures looking like a ghost because I actually did not understand a thing. But I gave myself some time and then I gradually started to understand. I think a lot of things now I don't face any problem happily. So yeah, that was one of the most shocking things for me, that accent could be so different. Another thing was obviously the weather. uh, this is The weather here in Glasgow is something that you'll have to adjust to, and it'll not happen too soon, but it'll be okay in like a month or two. So it's not too extreme, but it's just the wind that can trouble you a bit. And I think overall, about the food, I think by now I have tried every Indian restaurant, and I can tell you there are some of the best restaurants out here. I come from North India, and I know haven't tasted authentic South Indian food, but I think there's a restaurant here in Glasgow. It's Madras dosa, and I think it tastes more authentic than the food that the South Indian food you get in North India. So yeah, so there are plenty of options. Of course, for the grocery, you name the chips, you name the snacks, you get it here. The spices, the paranthas, everything. I think it's really accessible. And of course, they are not as affordable as you would get in India. But if you just want to, if you're craving something and you just want to grab a bite, you can obviously do that. It's very easy to get anything here that you're craving.
Okay, so one of the biggest shocks that I experienced when I came here is the politeness of British people. British people are so polite that they will say sorry and thank you after every sentence. And that's something that I found really something new. And I also saw a reel on Instagram, and it said it showed that a person was just walking and she just collided into a pole, and she was like saying sorry to the pole. That's what was really funny for me. Also, like some of the things that Indian students might experience after coming here is like finding proper Indian food ingredients. As for me, I prefer cooking food at home as compared to like going out. So it is very important to find like good quality ingredients that you might need for your for preparing food. So a lot of like common grocery stores here in Glasgow offer like a lot of Indian ingredients. They are like common vegetables like onions and everything. So that's all nice and you can find everything. But if you want like particular spices, or like in general if you want something specific to Indian cuisine, then you will have to go to like Indian stores which are like in every corner of Glasgow. So yeah, it's very common and you can easily find like ingredients for preparing Indian food at in Glasgow as well. Yeah.
Yeah, again, my two pointers like got covered by Navya. So again, my first thing was the accent. Uh, it I was kind of getting blank whenever people used to talk me in that accent. Like whenever you come across a person who is like typical Scottish, it's very tough to understand what they're actually saying. So I mean, yeah, things get better along with the time, and the thing is like. When I kind of started working part time, I got to talk to them more. I try to like understand them a bit more, and therefore I was kind of well going with the accent. And yeah, the next point is the weather. So I landed here in September, so like it was starting like a bit colder and colder. So again, you'll find that a bit different from India. And the thing is like you need to layer up a bit. You need to you know be aware of your physical health, because health is wealth. So you have to be a bit conscious about the cold weather here. And yeah, I mean, these are the two things I found different. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I know the weather really hits you because even though when we have students who come from North India, they have experienced the cold. But the cold in Glasgow is very, very different. So, like you mentioned, Rohit, you have to layer up. That's the key to keeping yourself warm. So talking about home away from home accommodation, that's one thing that a lot of students are always thinking about. So can you share with me your experience? I mean, are you living on the university accommodation or private accommodation? What was your experience till now?
So, ever since I came to Glasgow, I have been living in a private accommodation, and let me say there are pros and there are cons as well. The only thing that I regret is I did not choose a university accommodation in my first year, because that gives you access to meeting people from your year. You could meet people from your course as well. But regards to why I chose private accommodation was that sitting at home, like in India, I did not really know which area was safe in Glasgow and which was near university. So all I used to do was go on Google Maps, search the university, search the accommodation options, and whatever was nearer the university, that's what I chose. And I remember me and my father were sitting and we were discussing about accommodation options, and there was one accommodation that showed on Google Maps that it had a bridge that you have to cross, or there's a river that you had to cross. And while sitting there, we didn't really know if that was safe. So, keeping all those things in mind, I chose the accommodation, seeing that it was on a street, it was near the university campus, all of those things. But all I can say right now is I'm here since like now 2.5 years, and Glasgow is pretty safe. So what I was stressing about back in India, it's nothing like it. It's really safe. So if it were to up to me and I would have to like start this all over again, I would have chosen university accommodation for my first year and then decide if I want to move the accommodation or take a flat or something like that. So yeah.
Rohit, obviously you're a postgraduate student, so you have, little less than a year. So what was your choice?
You know, as you said, like being a postgrad, we have a very limited time. So again, I was like looking for a safer option, and according to me, there is nothing safer than choosing a university accommodation. So I chose to start with a university accommodation, but I did not go for the full length contract, because the moment you take the full month contract, what I see is, the incoming traffic of students and the outgoing people, there is a bit of clash, and you get to, like, face some hassle in finding flats after that. So that is the reason I chose like the university accommodation, but for like a limited period of contract. And why university accommodation? Because you get to network with a lot of people. So it is not just about local people. So you get to meet people like across the globe. You learn their culture, you experience different culture, you make amazing friends, and that is what I did. I have like friends from different countries, and I literally love talking to them every now and then. And yeah, the next thing is like the university accommodations are generally at a location where everything is very easily accessible. So where I lived, I had like supermarkets very close by. I have like train stations close by. Even I had the university like just 15 minutes of walk from my accommodation. So yeah, again, so that's the reason I would suggest people to go for university accommodation, because like for most of the private accommodation there is a bit of hassle, because you'll not be able to look for the places virtually. But when it comes to university accommodation, you'll be like have that sort of confidence that okay, this belongs to university, and it will be like very safe and smooth to go with. So yeah, that's my experience.
So I was also living in one of the university accommodations, and one of the reasons why I chose the university accommodation was that when I was looking for accommodations, I really could not find like private accommodations. Almost all of them were like full. And as Navya said, that the first thing that we look for when we go to a foreign country is like how safe we will be there. And as she said, like we eventually find out that Glasgow is quite safe. But at that time it was a big bit of a stressful thing for me, so I decided like going to the university accommodation will be better because it's a safer option and it's very close to the campus. And Also, I remember when I came here, if I had classes, I would just like go. I would not have to stress about like waking up too early and then traveling and everything. That's one of the plus points of being near the uni, is like your travel costs are like zero because you can just walk to the uni. And yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I took the university accommodation. And the university, like, also staying in the university accommodation, the life is very different from what you would experience if you would live like in a flat. If you were in a flat, maybe private accommodation, then you just stay limited to your own room and like own flatmates. But if you have like an accommodation, so whenever there is like a festival, I remember there used to be like some gatherings in the common room, and we used to like meet new people, and also like from different countries. And on our on festivals, different festivals, I came to know about like many festivals I did not even know about, like people from China, from Glasgow and everything. Yeah, so you experience a lot of new things if you stay in a university accommodation, and I would say that would be a better option for people to choose. Yeah.
I think both options have, a pro and a con, but eventually it is up to the student to decide. You have made your choices, and you have, excellent reasons behind that as well. Excellent. Let's talk about some money as well. So I know cost of living in a foreign country is much higher than living in India. So can you share what would be your average cost be for a month? And what are how do you save money? Something that you can share with potential students. What can they use in terms of tips and tricks to save some cash?
Regarding the cost of living, it actually depends on you. I am someone who doesn't know how to cook, so all my money goes to takeaways and ordering from restaurants. If you know how to cook, you will save quite a lot of money there, and because obviously buying grocery is much cheaper than taking takeaways. So yeah, for the tips and tricks, there are quite a few apps that you could use. For example, Uni Days, and then and one more trick: do not be shy from asking every shop that you go to is if they offer a student discount, because most of the times they would offer a student discount but it is not displayed anywhere. So don't be shy to ask that. And then there are, on the campus especially, I think every restaurant offers a student discount, and there are student meal deals. So it's like it tends to be really affordable if you take the student discounts. And for students like me who came here when they were around 18, 19, so Scotland is the best city that you can come to, because the bus travel is free for us. So you save quite a few, you know you save quite a few money on transport. So from going from West End to city center, it's basically free for me. And even to travel from, suppose, let's say, Glasgow to Edinburgh or Glasgow to Inverness, it's technically free. So I think these are all the plus points. And yeah, just one advice: just don't do as many takeaways as I do. Then you'll save money.
Yeah, if you like talk about cost of living, so again, as Navya said, it depends on the person. So according to me, like for me, it is approximately like 700 to 750 pounds a month. And yeah, it can vary from people to people. And when you talk about like money saving tips, so again, as Navya said, if you know how to cook, obviously you're going to save a lot. So it's better, like, if you're sitting idle at home, just get up and learn cooking, because cooking will save you a lot of money. And again, if you talk about like supermarkets here, they have like specific cards. So, like, we have a very popular supermarket here, which is Lidl. So again, Lidl has its, Lidl Plus cards, wherein you can, you keep on shopping and keep on scanning those cards, and you'll get some points, and then, you'll get some discount later on. And then if you talk about Tesco, they have their own club card. If you talk about Sainsbury, it has like a nectar card for them. So yeah, I mean, try using these cards, which will save you some bucks later on. And yeah, another point which Navya covered was using your student ID. So whenever and wherever you go to, just try to use your student ID, because most of the shops or restaurants over here, like they offer student discounts, and again you can save some money on that. Next is like, I'll give you like few more applications. So if you want to get like people over here, they display a sort of like free stuff. So you can go to an app called Olio or Nextdoor. These are the apps wherein you can get free stuff. So I got a free chair from Olio, so that was of help. So yeah, Olio and Nextdoor are again some apps which can help you. Talking about apps again, you get again that student beans, uni days, you get discount for like branded products over here. And if you talk about transport, you have rail cards, you have coach cards, you have again these subways card. If you like travel much with subway, so it's better to get a subway card. Again, it will save you a lot of money. And you can also save money on your social activities. So like try using like budget friendly options. So there are a lot of beautiful parks here. Try going there. There are free museums over here, so try going and visiting museums as well. And yeah, the final advice for money saving tips is get a part-time job if your academics allow. So whenever you get that credit every week in your bank, it'll sort of support your finances over here. You'll be able to cover most of them. And yes, I mean, the part-time jobs do really help. Yeah.
I think excellent tips from you, Navya and Rohit. How about you, Riddhi?
So for like saving money, one of the things that I do is whenever like I since I work a part-time job, whenever I am credited with like my salary. So what I do is I section everything according to my costs. So for me personally, I have no travel costs because I have like the Young Scott card. So I don't need to like invest money in traveling. So I just like section the money that I have into like the cost for the accommodation, the cost for the food and like food, groceries and everything, and another section for like my personal costs like additional like takeaway or anything. And I try to like minimize going for takeaways and everything, as Navya said, because that's a little bit expensive as compared to cooking your own food at home. Yeah, so that's like one of the tips that I would suggest, like, is to try and budget your money. And also one of the few apps that I use is there's one app called Monzo, and it has like an option to separate some amount of money and save it for like future whenever, even though you can like withdraw money from it at any time, but it allows you to like separate a little bit money and save a bit as you go about every month. Yeah, so these are some of the tips that I would suggest students could like have a look at. Yeah.
Thank you. I think those were all excellent tips. And I think what I would pick from that is learn to cook, basic dishes and get a part-time job. Yes, Namba, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so if you are like me and you don't know how to cook, sign up on Deliveroo student website because they give you free delivery for 4 years. So yeah, that's a tip for takeaways.
There we have a tip for takeaways as well. Excellent. Let's talk about the main thing why we are studying. It's all about careers. If you want to get a job or maybe, set up a company to create jobs for people. I'm sure you're all aware that we have career services at the university, and career services assist students in terms of finding part-time work, but also looking at full-time work, once you are reaching to graduate as well. So, have you used career services during the time that you're there? What has been your experience that you can share with students as well, please?
So I went through this university's portal called the Student Job Hub, and that is where I guess the competition is quite limited, because only the universities students are going to apply for it, and the chances for you getting into it is quite high. So that is what I've been suggesting to people, like go to Student Job Hub. and that is where I found my like first job. But I did not go for it because I was quite hesitant that time. So I mean, I would suggest that yeah, the student job hub is for a uni student is the best place to start with. And then yeah, there are a lot of career fair organized wherein you can uh, talk with top notch companies, and you can network with them. So these career fairs are usually organized periodically, so you get access to them. You just go and talk, you just network with them. And yeah, I mean, that was my experience with this career services.
Yeah, I think as Riddhi and Rohit said, that you could use the opportunities hub or the student hub for applying jobs. But of course, I have not had the experience of doing that. But yeah, there are a lot of options for improving your skills. So attended their CV workshop, like how to improve your CV, and of course the interview workshop. So there are quite a few workshops that you can attend to improve your skills. So even if you don't want to apply for a job, you can obviously spend time improving your skills. So I think that's a great plus point for having that website.
Excellent. That I think that's great advice from all of you. Because we do encourage students for to get in touch with career services for if you're looking for a full time or a part time or even an internship or participating in career fairs. They are there to help and support you. And in fact, they be with the student for the next 2 years after they have graduated as well. So it's not that career services goes away once you have graduated from the university. So moving on to some fun stuff. I mean, we have over 300 clubs and societies at the university. I'd be really keen to know if you're part of any of the club societies. What kind of engagements do you have?
So, as soon as I came here, I am really passionate about dancing. So, as soon as I came to Glasgow, I of course searched a lot of clubs and clubs and societies on the SRC website. And yeah, I found, I think there are more than 300 clubs and societies for you to choose from. So, I was like really shocked and excited to see that. And I joined the dance society, and I really enjoyed dancing on the stage after so many years. And then in my second year, I applied for the dance committee. So I was a member of the dance committee. I still am. So that's a wonderful experience to get on. I handle their social media, and I think it's just the skills that you are getting while investing your time somewhere productive. And then there are also, because I study law, so I was also finding law societies. So there are, I think, tons of law societies for you to choose from as well. I have been a part of, I think, two of the law societies as a committee member. So last year I was a committee member for the International Law Society, and this year I am a committee member for Criminal Law Society. So I think it's a good insight at the society. You meet new people, you make new friends, new memories, and of course you get to learn a lot of things. And it's just that uh, I don't feel guilty for like not working because I am investing my time somewhere else, and it's kind of productive for me. So yeah.
How about yourself, Riddhi?
Okay, so I am a big biology fan. So the first thing that I did was look for societies that are like similar, like related to my subjects. And one of the societies that did a lot of fun activities was like the Mycology Society. And after every few weeks, I think they go for like mushroom hunts in the campus, and they like look for like different kinds of mushrooms, and we collect them if they are like safe to collect, and we take pictures of them, and we like classify them according to the their classification in biology and everything. So yeah, that's one of the like fun activities that we do. Also, like as part of my project, I also did I was part as a part I was in a I was participating in a competition as well. So they had their own club as well. When like at the end of the project, they created their own club. So yeah, these are some of the fun things that I did in my time as a student in the clubs. Yeah.
Quite exciting. Mushroom searching. How about you, Rohit?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, as a postgrad, like you have a limited time, and it is very important to balance your time. So if you get time to join these societies, I would suggest you to like join them, because there are a lot of societies, as you know, as quoted, like we have like 300 plus societies. And if you talk about like India specifically, we have INSA, which is like Indian National Student Association, right, in the university. They help you in and out in case of any problems. Then you have like the Indian Society as well. They kind of keep you covered with all the events which like sort of keep happening, be it any festival or anything. I mean, they got you all covered. And then like I was a welfare officer of Glasgow Hindu Society. And we have a lot of fun there, because that's where you meet like-minded people. And then from like right from planning events to organizing them, then looking back at the events through photos and videos, it kinds of creates a memory for you. And yeah, I mean, these clubs and societies are like very fun to join. Yeah.
That's so exciting to learn about. I get to know about new clubs and societies every now and then, and the exciting things which happen there is truly amazing to hear. So I think we're coming to the close of our session. I know you're all, excellent content creators for the university. So please tell everyone about, the content that you've created for the university and where students can find it as well.
Right before coming here, I explored Glasgow virtually, and that's where these kind of content comes into play. So I watched like almost all the videos of that was put up on University of Glasgow's YouTube page. And you get a lot of insights that uh, what is it about, how is it going to be, and like almost everything. I mean, the moment I started watching those videos, I was like, I was already in Glasgow. So it is very insightful. So like if you go to University of Glasgow's YouTube page, you'll find a lot of content here, and I guess that is more than sufficient for you to get an insight that what's going on here. And like we create content on like almost every platform. We have like Instagram as well, wherein you can get content as well. For the societies, we do like takeovers, so you'll get those story highlights in Instagram, wherein like you can watch what happened in what event. So yeah, again, that's very insightful. So yeah, that's it.
There are tons of videos on our YouTube page for you to have an insight in as a life as a student living in Glasgow. And of course, the Instagram is full of short videos and stories just to give you the idea, some snippets of your life here. I personally made a lot of videos actually on different topics. One of them was when my mom came to visit me to Glasgow. I made her sit and made a video with her. So she gives an insight about Glasgow as a parent, how she feels I'm here, how she thinks the university is, everything about that. And other than that, I also made videos on why I chose Glasgow and specific information for Indians for Glasgow. So yeah, I think there are diverse topics, and I think all the content creators have managed to I think put at least one video on each topic. So yeah, you can just go through that, and it'll give you a good insight. And you'll, I think, after seeing all those videos, you'll feel a little more confident about Glasgow.
Thank you so much. I think that was an excellent discussion, I would say. Hearing all three of you is really, really amazing for me, being sitting here and we're sending students every year. But it is personally very enriching for me to hear all your feedback. Just for all our audiences who are listening to the podcast, I wanted to mention that the university has launched a few new courses this year. But the three most important courses that I wanted to mention, the first one being business analytics, the second one being cybersecurity. These are two most sought after courses and subject areas. So the university is launching these for September 25. We're also launching a law program for technology law and regulation, which is quite required as we see AI penetrating pretty much everywhere. So there is a law program that we have launched this year as well. The university also has launched excellent scholarships, especially for Indian students. To please have a look at the university website, visit the scholarships page, and have a look at the courses that we have launched. I also wanted to mention that all these wonderful students are available for you to chat with. We have a platform called Unibuddy, and you can visit the website glasgow.ac.uk /ask a student, and you can find students from your particular region, or also students from your particular course that you're looking for, and have a discussion with them and find out their experiences as well. We also have the Get to Know Glasgow podcast season one available. Do have a look at that as well. We have Ash from India who was featured in that series, and of course, he was also part of the podcast at that particular point. You can also visit the postcard podcast providers like Spotify and Apple Music, who have these episodes available for you to watch. There is amazing content there which will really help you to understand about Glasgow, about the University of Glasgow, and our student experiences as well. I would thank each one of you. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I hope it is really beneficial for all the students who are listening to us. Thank you very much. All the very best and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much for having us.